Today I will try to speak a little bit about one of my favorite classical death metal bands from United States, especially from Florida, from Tampa. I'm speaking about the band DEICIDE. And I have to say, first of all, as a religious person, a religious Jew, first of all, an Orthodox religious Jew, I have first of all to say that I don't agree, of course, with anything about their words, not about their Satanist and lyrics and image, not about their anti-Christian and anti-religious and blasphemy image and lyrics, or anti-Jewish, also because they're speaking against all the Abrahamic religions, not only against Christianity. Okay, from this point of view, for me, I like and I love DEICIDE only because of their music. And don't forget, right, Glenn Benton, maybe he's a crazy person, maybe, okay, about the whole thing of Satanism and anti-Christianity and etc., etc. But he took in the band Ralph Santola, the famous guitarist, that he was before in Death and Iced Earth and Obituary. He took him to the band. Even that Ralph Santola, he was a practice religious, not exactly religious, but a practice Christian Catholic. And also this was a controversy between some of the followers of the band in these years. So, some things about DEICIDE. First of all, they started in 1987 by the name Carnage. Afterwards, they became Ammon, the name of the band. From 87 until 89, they had this name, Ammon, and maybe they wanted to continue with this name. The co-founders of the band were Steve Anshane, the drummer, and the two brothers, the guitarists, Eric and Brian Hoffman. Afterwards, they took with them the singer and the bassist Glenn Benton, that in a late period of time he became the most famous persona of the band. Now, Glenn Benton, he was a very controversial. We know the whole thing, and they took the name DEICIDE because of Roadrunner Records. Because in these years, in Roadrunner Records was another also famous band, King Diamond, and in his album Conspiracy, he had a song by the name Ammon Belongs to Them, and for this reason, Roadrunner Records, they sent to them to DEICIDE that have to change the name from Ammon to DEICIDE. In their music, we can find so much influence from thrash metal and especially from Slayer, and this is something that I like it very, very much in their music. And today I will try to make to rank their albums from worst to best. There are 12 albums until now. First of all, I have to say that if we can separate DEICIDE to some periods, there are some people that will say the first period is the Hoffman period, from the first album until the 7th album. Afterwards, the brothers Hoffman left the band, and afterwards we have another period of Ralph Santola and of Jack Owen, that he came from Cannibal Corpse, for 3 albums. And until now we have another 2 albums, maybe another period. Some other people will say that there's the first golden age period of the golden period of the band is their first albums, and afterwards we have another 3 albums that they were not so okay. Many people, they don't like them, especially In Sin, Rate Him, and In Torment in Hell. And we have another period, a new era of the band, when Ralph Santola and Jack Owen came to the band with the strength of redemption. It continues until To Hell with God, and afterwards with the two last albums of the band. And let's say from the eighth album and from the eighth album until now, they even more melodical. Okay, melody in the words of DEICIDE, yeah, it's not exactly melody how we know it. Okay, so let's start. In the 12th place for me comes their less favorite album by the name To Hell with God, the album of 2011, their 10th album. This was also the last album of Rav Santola. Rav Santola died in 6 or 7 June of 2018. Rest in peace, Rav Santola. In any case, for me, in this album, here we can we listen his melodic solos a little bit less from the other albums that he played with them. And in the 11th place, their 7th album of 2004, the last album with the brothers Hoffman, with Eric and Brian Hoffman, Scars of the Crucifix. The album is not bad, but is not one of my favorite albums of them. In the 10th place, one album that most of the followers of DEICIDE, for them this is the worst DEICIDE album. I don't agree with this. In Torment in Hell. In Torment in Hell, their 6th album of 2001. Maybe here we have also some groove metal influences in some songs, but I like the album. Now, in the 9th place, their 12th album, that for me their last album until now. For me, it was a very, very good album. In the beginning, maybe for me, maybe it's also the most melodic DEICIDE album until now. In the beginning, I did like it, but today I like it very much and speak about Overtures of Blasphemy. Also, I think that this is a great album, even more melodic from the days of Santola, but I like it very much. And now, in the 8th place, also another album that many people, they don't like it, the album of 2000, their 5th album, In Sin Rate Him, if I prefer it correct, okay? Okay, many people, they don't like the album, but I can say that it's a good album in my taste of music, personal taste of music. And now in the 7th place, another very good album of them, their 9th album of 2008. And I speak about the album Till Death Do Us Part. Great album, their 2nd album with Santola and with Owen. Here we can listen, I can listen some influences from Cannibal Corpse, maybe from the period of like Gallery of Suicide or Bloodthirst, let's say the more melodic period of Cannibal Corpse. In the 6th place, one of the great albums of them, the beginning of a new era that brought also many new followers to the band. Speak about the album, the 8th album of 2006, The Stance of Redemption. A great album that changed the sound of DEICIDE in some things, brought more melody to the band, because especially of Rav Santola, and because also of Owen, of Jack Owen from Cannibal Corpse. Great album. The fifth place, here comes for me the best album of their last era, and I'm speaking about the 11th album of 2013, In the Minds of Evil. A great album of DEICIDE, a great album with a great cover art also. And now, in the fourth place, one album that I think that most of the followers of DEICIDE will put in the first place, maybe in the second place. But for me, it comes in the fourth place. Great album also. The second album of 1992, the album Legion. A great album. I put it in this place because of the other albums. Forgive me. The third place for me, there in the third place, the fourth album of 1997, Serpents of the Light. Great album. For some people and many people, this is also maybe this is the last great DEICIDE album. Great album. Some people also can say that this is the continuance of Once Upon the Cross. And now, in the second place, I had here an argument, a personal argument, what will come in the first or in the second place. In the second place, I decided to put their debut album, their first album, DEICIDE of 1990. Morrisound, from the Morrisound production with Scott Burns as their producer. Great album, their first album, and if people they don't know what is DEICIDE, they have to find first of all for me their four albums. They have to begin from this album, from Legion, afterwards Once Upon the Cross, and Serpents of the Light. And in any case, now in the first place, I will put the third album of 1995, Once Upon the Cross, for some reasons. First of all, this is the first DEICIDE album that I listened. Secondly, this is the first classical death metal album that I listened. And maybe the second album of the whole extreme metal. The first was Beneath the Remains of Sepultura. So, for all this, in the beginning, it was I was very upset about the cover art, about the words. In any case, the music is so great here, so great. The Slayer influences, so great album. For this reason, I put this in this first place. So, from Jerusalem and from Israel, stay metal, stay heavy, and until now, stay home and stay safe.